We had partners that literally thought that their investment with us was a donation and not a business decision.
We want to show up, we want to be authentic, we want to tell our story, tell this story of the association.
Anything you're doing with education is definitely of interest to corporate sponsors.
Your culture is going to change whether you care about it or not.
Welcome to Association RevUP, the podcast home for association business pioneers, presented by the Professionals for Association Revenue. I'm your host, Carolyn Shomali, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, great, another podcast, just what this already oversaturated podcast market needs. And you're right, we don't need just another podcast, but we do think we need a new kind of podcast, and that's what we're here to provide. So what does that mean? First, we recognize that your time as an association professional is your most valuable commodity. We know that because we're association professionals too. We don't have time to sift through loads of information to find ideas and inspiration to improve our work. So we know you don't either. And secondly, we know that working in association business is challenging, and at times it can be draining. Success demands both continuous consistency, but also ongoing adaptations. And while you want to continue to develop your professional skill set, you're tired. We can relate to being short on time and to being stretched too thin. So this podcast will give you back your time along with new ideas for association business by sharing insights from industry leaders, not in an interview format, but in an intriguing and entertaining docu-style cast. Yes, I think I did just make up that word, but regardless, here's what it means. Each episode will explore one idea that can transform your association's revenue health. You'll listen to them independently, but if you listen to all the episodes in the series together, you'll come away with a comprehensive overview of how to transform your association's business approach. Our intent is for you to feel as though you are at home enjoying your favorite show, not at work checking off a to-do list of what must get done. And we think that you'll enjoy this format so much that you'll want to be an active participant in the learning. So each episode will encourage you to analyze where you are on the subject, where you want to ultimately go, and we'll give you some ideas for how to get there. We'll cover topics like sales leadership.
We had an epiphany one day. We went, wait a minute, we're all salespeople. Why don't we create a sales deck for our internal organization? And that was a true game changer.
Sales skills.
You are not selling ads. You are not selling exhibits and sponsorships. You are not selling corporate membership. You are selling access to a niche specific market. And that is super important because that's what makes associations unique and special in what we do.
Partnerships.
Non-dues revenue allows a lot of opportunities in association. It allows teams to hire people. So that's a big selling point.
And the change management to help you put it all in place.
We all like change when it fits the way we like change.
You just heard from author Scott Waldron, Jeremy Figeton of ICMA, Brittany Scholl of MCI, and Jody Ashcraft of the American Psychological Association. Those are just some of the voices we'll be joined by this season, and so many more. Tune into our debut episode with culture strategist Jamie Notter, who reminds us that no matter what business practices we put in place, it's imperative to begin with an honest assessment of our organizational culture.
Culture is a tangible business tool for driving growth. The reason why culture is so important for driving growth is culture drives behavior. And that's what they mean when they say culture eats strategy for breakfast. You can come up with a great strategy, but if you don't have a culture that drives the behaviors that make that strategy work, it's not going to work.
Your work in association business is vital to propelling your association toward its mission. Not everyone understands that, but we do, and we know you do too. So join the Professionals for Association Revenue each week for a podcast that will get everyone in your organization talking about revenue generation. This is Association RevUP. Our thanks to a supporting partner of the Professionals for Association Revenue and of this podcast, VPC Incorporated. VPC is an award-winning, full-service boutique production and broadcasting company. Their clients include professional sports teams and headlining comedians, and also higher ed, corporate, and nonprofit institutions. Annual events and conferences are still a vital part of association business outcomes, and we use these experiences to connect with our audience and share our mission in meaningful ways. The audio and visual component of an event is a big part of that, but oftentimes an event venue's in-house production team doesn't always have the capacity to bring our ideas to life. Or if they do, it's way too cost prohibitive to do so. That's why at PAR, we partner with VPC to produce the RevUp Summit each year. As a boutique production company, they work with us throughout the planning and execution of our event, all while being completely transparent in pricing, paying close attention to detail, and providing an expert crew to bring the RevUp Summit to life. All of that allows us a chance to devote our full attention to our event attendees and subject matter. And last year, VPC went the extra step to record audio of each breakout session at the RevUp Summit, which you will hear throughout this podcast series. To learn more about how VPC can help your association with its next event, visit vpcinc.net or visit them on LinkedIn at VPC Inc.